can't splurge the cash. Their commercial income isn't there yet. Want to buy world-class talent? Well, PSR says to them, your owner might have the money, but you're not making enough in shirt sales in Asia for that. The Magpies won their first domestic trophy since 1955, qualified for the Champions League, which you'd think would be a great springboard for them to go on and start building a team to challenge at the top. But because of PSR restraints, they couldn't break their wage structure for a new Alexander Isak contract, and look what's happened there. Nottingham Forest tried to invest to survive. They did that, but they got punished anyway. Meanwhile, clubs like Spurs, until last season, hadn't won a trophy in over 18 years, but because they rake in cash from the new stadium, they get a much bigger PSR allowance than a newly promoted club who are just trying to stay up. And let's not forget the loopholes these big boys are exploiting. Chelsea found the trick with those long contracts, selling the women's team. City are masters of related party sponsorships. Etihad this, Etisalat that, all within the rules, and fair play to them for capitalising on those opportunities. But what about the smaller clubs? They don't have that luxury. Now look, financial sustainability matters. Nobody wants another Bury or Morecambe situation. But there's increasing concern that rather than levelling the playing field, the current rules cement the existing hierarchy. So what's the solution? We'll either loosen the reins so ambitious clubs can spend within their means, or cap spending based on something other than revenue. Otherwise, we're just watching the same 6 teams swapping silverware most seasons while the rest play musical chairs for 7th. And that, folks, ain't what the Premier League was built on.
And welcome along to Early Sports Breakfast this Wednesday morning. Katie Shanahan with you, guiding you through until 6 a.m, where Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor will be digesting all of the Champions League action and, of course, the League Cup as well. So whether you're on your way to work, walking the dogs, or you've just made a cup of coffee, just settle in as we get you ready for the day ahead. And, of course, get involved in the show as well. The number's 03717 223344, or you can text me 81089 and just let us know where you're listening to us across the world. Love to hear from so many of you this morning. Nick is in the studio. What's coming up in the show?
Morning, Katie. On the way over the next hour, we'll start in North London, where Thomas Frank got a hard-fought win on his Champions League debut. We'll take a look at Arsenal's bench depth that saw them through a tough game in Bilbao. We'll hear the fallout from 3 eventful Carabao Cup games, 2 of which went to penalties. And we'll go through the best of the front and back pages on this Wednesday morning.
Thanks, Nick. Right, let's get into it. So the Champions League returned to talkSPORT on Tuesday night, and we had 3 eventful games in the Carabao Cup as well. Here's how it all sounded on talkSPORT.
Martinelli with his first touches onto it. He's beyond the defender. He's into the area. Martinelli scores! Trossard, can he get the shot in? He does! Match day 1 ends in victory. Athletic Bilbao 0. Arsenal 2.
Sheffield Wednesday 0, Grimsby Town 1. The Voyaging Mariners, they're through to the 4th round of the Carabao Cup.
Up steps Damsgaard, right-footed, slides it into the bottom corner. Brentford are through. The Bees make it to round 4, knocking out another Premier League side as they did in the last round. This time they've done for Aston Villa, but they needed penalties to do it.
Imaku right-footed, it's saved! And Crystal Palace have beaten their South London rivals. Crystal Palace's cracking cup form continues.
Tottenham 1, Villarreal 0. Villarreal goalkeeper Luis Junior. He's ended up pushing the ball into his own net. It's a nightmare for the keeper.
It's unbelievable.
Tottenham make a winning start to their Champions League campaign.
They'll struggle to get out of the Champions League group phases playing like this. They have to raise the level.
An ugly victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Right, let's start at Spurs, shall we? Where Thomas Frank's side started their Champions League campaign with 3 points against a solid, if unremarkable, Villarreal side. The only goal came from one of the worst goalkeeping howlers I've seen from a while. Literally, I felt so sorry for him. Luis Jr. dived forward to stop Lucas Bergval's cross that was actually going into Richarlison and then somehow pushed it back into his own net. A night to forget for him. So it finished 1-0 to Spurs, meaning that was their 4th clean sheet in 5 games, 3 in the Premier League now under Thomas Frank. And to put it into perspective, Ange Postecoglou had 5 clean sheets in the Premier League in total last season when he was managing Spurs. As for Villarreal, they didn't actually have any shots on target, would you believe? But Spurs only had 1, so it wasn't quite a spectacle. And talkSPORT's Troy Deeney thinks that Spurs need to do better if they want to make the knockouts.
They'll be happy that they've got the job done. But I just think for us as commentators and for people watching this, they'll struggle to get out of the Champions League group phases playing like this. They have to raise the level. Maybe there's a nervous energy. Maybe there's a just get the job done for the first night. But Thomas Frank will have to look at this and go, right, yes, we won and we can enjoy it. We spoke about it at the top of the show with Adrian. But I just think they're going to be in a position where every team playing against Spurs will go, we can get at this team. And that's not a good sign going into the Champions League.
Well, before the game, Thomas Frank spoke about taking a moment just to sit back and enjoy the Champions League anthem on his first game in the competition. But what did he make of Tottenham's performance?
I thought it was a big win. In any competition, it's good to get 3 points and get a good start. Happy with that. Happy with the clean sheet. Happy with the defensive side of the game. I think we were extremely good and limited Villarreal to very, very little. Throughout the game, a good team. I really, really admire. Obviously, offensively, we struggled on the day to create something against a good team. And also defend very well, which we knew in the 4-4-2 structure. Very aggressive. And when we on the day, I think, they need the highest level in terms of touch and passes and decision making and nailed that. Then it was a very even game that we edged in the end.
So a really special night for Thomas Frank. And you think back to, I remember watching from the stands at Griffin Park, Thomas Frank guiding Brentford over all these years, you know, going from the Championship to the Champions League. So a really special night for him to get that first win under his belt as well. So I'm sure he probably got a few goosebumps listening to that Champions League anthem, like we all do whenever it plays, especially the first games of the season. I also liked part of the coverage last night when they were in the tunnel beforehand, just before the players walked. I actually did this a number of times during the Euros in Switzerland. And I tell you what, being in the tunnel with the players just before they walk is a really surreal experience. It's, well, the one when I was always with the Lionesses, it was all so quiet. They come out heads down focused, and it's a really, really surreal atmosphere. A very special place to be, because you can tell that everyone's just ready for the game ahead. You can just hear the noise of the atmosphere just kind of through the tunnel. It's very, very special indeed. So nice to get that insight ahead of Tottenham's game against Villarreal last night. Also good to see Xavi Simons. He looks great, doesn't he? What good signing. 52 million. And for the Dutch player, quality as well. But Lucas Bergval also shining as well, and also saying afterwards that Thomas Frank has this clean sheet mentality, bearing in mind how many goals they conceded last season. So yeah, Tottenham off to a good start. As for their North London rivals, Arsenal, they did struggle to break down Athletic Club over in Bilbao. That was before Mikel Arteta showed Arsenal's strength in depth by bringing on Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard, who both scored to make it 2-0. And Perry Groves told Joe Shannon on commentary that Arteta's Arsenal really did grow into the game.
He'll say that his team eased their way into the game, you know, got into half-time 0-0.
And sometimes you have to.
Yeah, you could tell that both teams were a little bit nervous in that first half. But I have to say, I was worried about Declan Rice obviously being on an early yellow card. I thought that Arteta might think back. So he's been absolutely outstanding in the second half. He's run the game in that midfield area, made himself more influential, put himself on the ball, just helped it on, made runs into the box. And Arsenal have been in complete control in this second 45 minutes.
They were in complete control, but at the same time, I don't think it was an overly convincing performance until the subs came on. I think they got out of jail there. I think it was quite an underwhelming performance from Arsenal before the likes of Gabriel Martinelli, who came on and scored after 36 seconds, kind of, just putting his hand up to the manager and saying, you know what, I really am here. I've got a point to prove. But at the same time, I can't see him starting over one of the wide players because Madueke, and I thought, Eze's still trying to find his feet, isn't he? How comfortable does he look out on that left wing? Leandro Trossard, I think, is also such a brilliant player. He always delivers and always scores in the big games. So I was pleased to see him bag another goal for Arsenal tonight. So they've got great options from the bench, which is really important, especially when you're playing across all the competitions. And it just shows that you really need a big squad to see how far you can go and how far Arsenal can go in the Champions League. Do you think they can win it this season? I don't know. I don't know if they can. I think Liverpool and PSG are the favourites, and you can't discount Real Madrid, bearing in mind they've won the competition 15 times. So I think it's going to be a hard one for Arsenal. Hope Victor Gyökeres is all right. That looked like a nasty cut on the back of his head, didn't it, last night? But they patched him up and away he went, and he carried on. So fair play to him. Well, Mikel Arteta is confident that his squad understands that they can't start every game, but the finishers will be important this season.
Well, I think they know. I was very clear. They know how I feel about them, so they know that when I have to leave a player on the bench or out of the squad, it hurts me. And starting from there is the only thing I can do. It's my job. I have to make decisions, and I have to make decisions based on increasing the probability of winning football matches, and they know that that's the only reason why I'm going to make certain decisions, sometimes right, sometimes wrong, and they have to stay by that. And they know that if we want to maintain certain standards, they are very responsible, not only during matches, but in training session, the atmosphere they create, how much they care for each other. So all those things are going to be very critical, and all of them they're going to play for sure.
Yeah, it's a tough situation to be if you're Mikel Arteta trying to keep all these players happy. Well, Jason Cundy actually agreed with caller Greg on the Sports Bar last night, who thinks that this could actually be Arsenal's year.
I don't want to say I think we're going to win it. I think we can win it. Why not?
Do you know what? I think they can. I think they're capable of winning both.
What?
I do.
What?
No, not
they can do this double.
No, not the double. But I think they're more than. I think I've been saying. Look, I hate myself for saying this. Right? I've been saying for the last couple of seasons. I said again.
Smart, you're switched on.
No, I have. Great. I just feel. But then I don't know whether you're. I see Liverpool, right, and I just watch them, and I think I've seen the 4 games. They've been below average. They got 12 points. I don't know whether Arsenal are capable.
Beat Arsenal as well, by the way.
Including that, but it took a worldie. But I just don't know whether you're streetwise enough.
Do you know what I think? I think player-wise, I think we could win it. I just don't know if Arteta's got the stones to win it.
What do you think, Arsenal fans? Give us a call, 03717 223344, or text us 81089. Is last night a sign that you could go and win the Champions League this season, or even the Premier League? Do you agree with the caller Greg? Do you think that Arteta doesn't potentially have what it takes to get them a trophy? Well, first of all, good morning to Craig in Windsor, who's text 81089. Morning, Katie. Happy Gooner this morning. A solid 2-0 win, and delighted for Martinelli getting his goal. Definitely fancy our chances of finally winning the Champions League, and we've also only conceded 1 goal in 5 games. So, Arsenal fans, do you think you can do it? Give us a call, 03717 223344, or text me 81089. We want to hear from you this Wednesday morning on Early Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, on talkSPORT, with Adrian Flux Insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Right, coming up, we'll be taking a look at Ruben Amorim's early sack clause. This is quite interesting, actually, and review last night's Carabao Cup action. Good morning. How are you doing this Wednesday morning? Katie Shanahan here with you, guiding you through until 6 o'clock when Alan Brazil and Gabby Ogbonlahor will be joining us for talkSPORT Breakfast, and they're, of course, going to be reflecting on all of the Champions League and Carabao Cup action. Right, we've got the morning's back pages coming up very shortly. But first, here are some of the headlines you're waking up to this Wednesday morning. Trent Alexander-Arnold was injured just 3 minutes into Real Madrid's 2-1 win over Marseille. He came off with what looked like a hamstring injury, and his replacement, Dani Carvajal, was then sent off for a headbutt. Elsewhere, Juventus played out a thrilling 4-4 draw with Borussia Dortmund, all 8 goals coming in the second half. Quite an extraordinary game if you want to watch that back on the highlights. Nicholas Jackson is eligible to line up against Chelsea for Bayern Munich in the Champions League this evening, which you can hear on talkSPORT 2. The striker's on loan at Bayern, but he's allowed to play against his parent club. Bayern boss Vincent Kompany, though, is not worried that the Senegal international will be out to prove a point.
I don't think it's black or white. I think it can go both ways. But it will certainly be a special game for him. There's no doubt about that.
And for all of today's biggest stories, you can go to talksport.com. This is Early Sports Breakfast with Adrian Flux. Get a tailor-made quote for your commercial vehicle. Search Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Right, all sorts going on in the Carabao Cup last night. 2 penalty shootouts and a fourth round tie secured for Grimsby Town. Now, I've watched Grimsby Town live a couple of times, and they are having a great season. Beat MK Dons. That was the one that I watched at Stadium MK. They went 3-0 up before half-time, and then MK Dons get a red card, but they beat them 3-2, and I've got to say, they're ruthless on the break. We saw them knock out Manchester United from the Carabao Cup, and they're just going from strength to strength, and that continues in the Carabao Cup as well. Charles Furnham is a real talent for them as well. As for Crystal Palace, their cracking cup form continue. They did know needed penalties to get past a decent Millwall side. Ollie Klink was watching it for talkSPORT.
Imaku right-footed, it's saved! And Crystal Palace have beaten their South London rivals. Benitez down low to his left-hand side. It was a poor penalty from Imaku. And Palace have survived a scare in the 3rd round of the EFL Cup. Millwall battling their way back into the game in injury time. But they were perfect from the spot. And Scott Minto, they've managed to win in this South London derby.
Well, if we'd have said in the first 15-20 minutes that Palace will win this game, we'd say, yeah, right, they're absolutely dominating. It could be 3 or 4. But you know what? I want to give a lot of credit to Millwall. A lot of changes made. They've got a lot of injuries at the moment, whether it's a pick a full 11 or not. Towards the end of the first half, had a couple of really good chances, gave as good as they got in the second. And for them to take it all the way against a side that, you know, is riding high, it's the best time to be a Crystal Palace fan. And they took it all the way to penalties, where it is the lottery. Look, credit to them. But in the end, they were clinical finishes, weren't they?
So Millwall have Watford at home in the Championship next. That game is live for you on talkSPORT 2 on Monday night. So over at the G-Tech, Harvey Elliott scored his first goal for Aston Villa, but it wasn't enough to give Unai Emery's side the boost that they need. It was, though, Villa's opening goal of the season, their first in 8 hours of competitive football. So Villa's poor start to the season continues as they were knocked out of the Carabao Cup by Brentford on penalties following a 1-1 draw. And talkSPORT's Darren Ambrose says that the Bees were very good value for the win.
It's a horrible way to lose, but this is a great way to win in a penalty shootout. And rightly so, Valdemarson made the error, didn't he, in the first half, saved his team at the end of the second half, and won it for his team with not 1 but 2. And the second save was absolutely fantastic. You'd have to say it was a good match, but overall, I'd say Brentford were the better side, did deserve the win. As he said, it's a horrible way to go. I'm interested to see what was the Morgan Rogers situation there. But well done, Brentford. Good win, and they're through to the next round.
Yeah, Unai Emery seemed to have an argument with Morgan Rogers for not being involved in the penalty discussion. Meanwhile, Brentford boss Keith Andrews hopes their progression to the 4th round of the Carabao Cup will make his players sit up and realise just how good they are. Well, Brentford's next game is away at Fulham in the Premier League, which is live on talkSPORT this Saturday evening. And Grimsby got past financially stricken Sheffield Wednesday with a 1-0 win at Hillsborough. talkSPORT's Alan Biggs spoke to Grimsby manager Dave Artell to get his reaction after the game.
I said to the players yesterday, before the game, whatever you do, underestimate this football club, this football team at your peril. You know, you might not recognise every single name on the team sheet, but they've beaten Bolton, they've beaten Leeds. You know, so if you go into this game with any drop off from your maximum, you will get a good hiding because they're a good team. You know, so I thought we approached it right, and I thought the lads were a credit to the football club, really. And so were the supporters. I mean, he had 5,000 to 6,000 people here. Yeah, look, I haven't got enough superlatives for the fans. I thought they were outstanding. I'm not sure if they outnumbered the home fans, and I understand the reasons why. And I wish all the Sheffield Wednesday supporters all the best in their quest, their current predicament. But the football supporters of our team deserve a huge amount of credit for this fairly short trip for us, and backing the team and singing their hearts out. And I hope they're going home as happy as I am.
Yeah, fantastic win for Grimsby Town as they're, they keep riding that wave and hopefully a Premier League tie in the fourth round as well. Right, Nick Ellaby is back alongside me. What are we going to be looking through in the back pages first?
Come on, the trawlerman. On the subject of Grimsby Town, there's a good Man United story on the back of the Daily Mail. This is by Chris Wheeler. Amorim's £12 million safety net against United acts. So a lot of speculation about, recently Ruben Amorim potentially losing his job, statistically the worst manager in Manchester United history. And Chris Wheeler writing, Man United would have to give Ruben Amorim a £12 million payoff if they sack their head coach in the first year of his Old Trafford contract. So Amorim was appointed last November. The deal is $6.5 million a year to him. There's an option of a 12-month extension. That's looking less and less likely. Are Man United just waiting? What's your sense on what you think Man United will do? They've got 3 games now before the next international break, but that still comes before this 1st of November situation with Man United having to pay $12 million if they get rid of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to stick with him, if I'm honest, because they backed him for quite some time. But it is interesting to hear this. If they sack him before what was it, a year? Did you say?
Yeah.
So it's 12 million. It's a lot of money. Bearing in mind he's on $6.5 million a year. So if you're Ruben, you kind of do better off if you get sacked early.
Of course, but who'd have thought he would have made the team worse? And obviously in the background at United, you've got Sir Jim Ratcliffe laying off the tea lady and all the rest of these people. Whereas, they've actually paid off, I think it's the last 5 bosses. So David Moyes got a £5 million payout, Louis van Gaal 8.4, Mourinho nearly 20 million, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Eric Ten Hag. Eric Ten Hag got over 10 million for leaving. I think no one predicted that Man United would actually get worse. But it's if they're having to pay another 12 million out to sack Amorim, those decisions to get rid of people behind the scenes that make Man United a Manchester club, that give you that feeling of being from that part of the country, then those decisions I think they're looking even more insane.
I think Ruben Amorim needs to change his system because it's not working. And if anything's not working, you have to change it, and you can't be. And I know it worked out. Sporting Lisbon, it worked out in his career, but the midfield just can't cope with this current system. Ugarte and Fernandes, and it's just listening to Wayne Rooney, and he was like, "That is literally the problem in midfield. They're just getting completely overrun." And whether this formation, this system, is going to lead to Ruben Amorim getting sacked, you see all the best managers adapting and changing. Each team is different. So why do you think that one formation is just going to work in the hardest, situations across loads of competitions? Just change your formation and adapt to each team.
You're right about the midfield, though. I think Ugarte was supposed to be that guy, that enforcer, but he just looks completely not good enough.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to play Fernandes further back. Anyway, Man United are in a mess. We all know that. I've got a quite slightly concerning rugby story. Worcester still owe their ex-players, Worcester Warriors, who are down in the second tier after financial penalties. They could be hit with further RFU sanctions if they don't settle their debts. This is Will Kelleher, the Times deputy rugby correspondent. A group of about 20 former Worcester players and also the club's former director, Steve Diamond, a load of coaches, were all owed money after leaving the club last year when they had to go down. Worcester spokesman, so they've been taken over by the guy, Chris Holland, who also owns Wasps, and Worcester are saying 65% of all claimants have been paid so far, 20% either offered a settlement or in arbitration, and they say just 15% are in progress and actively being worked on. But if Worcester don't pay those coaches off, then they'll be looking at potentially further sanctions from the RFU.
One quick final one?
Yeah, so I think it's a very quick look at the World Athletics Championships that's happening in Tokyo. Something to look forward to today. A 40-year world record potentially under threat. You've got this fantastic 400-metre runner from the States, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, who ran 48.29 in the semi-final. Not only the fastest in the world this year, also more than a second quicker than anyone else in the field. And that old record is from Marita Koch, so an East German who everyone thinks was doping back in 1985, who ran an astonishing 47.6. So that record potentially could go today over in Tokyo. And the 1,500 metres, the men, we are looking at potential, as you have in your headlines, 1, 2, 3 for Scotland. Right. Josh Kerr, Jake Whiteman, Neil Gawley, all Scottish 1,500 metre runners, all going in the final today. And imagine that, Scotland 1, 2, 3.
That'd be very good. Can't wait. Nick, thank you very much for the back pages this morning. Katie Shanahan here with you on Early Sports Breakfast. talkSPORT Breakfast is coming up at 6 o'clock with Alan Brazil and Gabby Agbonlahor. Up next, we'll be hearing from Aaron Hickey on his long injury layoff, and we'll be having, of course, some fun with the front pages.
Corinthian Casuals are a team in the Combined Counties League Premier Division South. Despite that, they're one of the most important clubs in world football. Here's why. The club was formed in 1939 as the result of a merger between Corinthians FC and Casuals FC. Now, Corinthians FC were founded in the late 1800s when the FA's top brass were absolutely sick of getting pumped by Scotland every time they played them. As a result, Nicholas Lane Jackson set up an amateur side which would bring in the best players who could all play for the national side. And it worked. It wasn't long before England were dominating the international fixtures they played, and it was largely down to Corinthians. In fact, in 1894 and 1895 they played consecutive games where Corinthians provided the entire England 11. But the thing is, the players refused to play professional football. They didn't believe in it. They wanted to spread the values of sportsmanship, competition, and played for the love of the game. It also helped most of the players were Oxbridge graduates who didn't need the money, but instead of entering league and cup competitions, they played exhibition football and toured the world, bringing the beautiful game with them. Think of it like the Harlem Globetrotters of football, and it was this which spread the game throughout the world and made it so popular. Most famously, in 1910, they travelled to Brazil, and the locals in Sao Paulo were so impressed they started their own team under the same name. Yes, the same Corinthians who won the FIFA Club World Cup in 2021, one of the biggest clubs in Brazil.
Good morning, Katie Shanahan here on Early Sports Breakfast. How are you doing? Whether you're on your way to work, walking the dogs, or maybe you've just hit the snooze a couple of times like me this morning, which is quite dangerous when you've got to get into work. Settle in as we guide you through until talkSPORT Breakfast, which is coming up at 6 o'clock with Alan Brazil and Gabby Bonlahor. We are going to be looking ahead to a couple of massive games in the Champions League tonight. Liverpool and Chelsea both in action. This morning, we've also been talking about Thomas Frank's winning start to his Champions League debut, and our chief football correspondent Alex Crick was watching the action in North London.
The full-time whistle blows. Tottenham make a winning start to their Champions League campaign. Thomas Frank's first game in Europe's premier club competition as a manager ends in victory, but it was one that was gifted to them after only 4 minutes. Lucas Bergvall with a cross from the right, scooped into his own net by the Villarreal goalkeeper Luis Junior. Tottenham never really looked like adding to the scoring. Nicola Pepe back in North London, the former Arsenal man, had a couple of opportunities he didn't take, and Spurs probably should have ended the game with 10 men. Mickey van der Ven shown only a yellow card when he hauled down Georgios Mikitadze when he was clean through on goal on the edge of the penalty area. An ugly victory, but a victory nonetheless. It finishes Tottenham 1, Villarreal 0.
Yeah, an ugly victory, but they got the win that they needed, the first one under Thomas Frank, as he's got off to a good start for Tottenham, don't you think? Tottenham fans, give us a call, 03717 223344. How do you think you're going to get on in the Champions League this season? How far do you think you're going to get? Do you think you can go all the way and win it? Do you think you'll reach the knockouts, or do you think you'll get, knocked out early? Give us a call, 03717 223344. Do you like what you're seeing already under Thomas Frank? Or you can give me a text, 810 10.89. Another clean sheet to add as well, which is really promising and much better than last season. This is Early Sports Breakfast with Adrian Flux, the cover you need at a price you will love, with What Van's Insurer of the Year 2021. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Right, here's some of the headlines you're waking up to this Wednesday morning. Great Britain are targeting their first medal of the World Athletics Championships today. We could even see a Scotland 1-2-3 in the men's 1500 metres. Defending champion Josh Kerr is in the final alongside 2022 winner Jake Whiteman and Neil Gawley. Jacob Bethell will become the youngest man to captain England and a cricket international in the opening 2020 match against Ireland this lunchtime. The 21-year-old is standing in for regular skipper Harry Brook, who's among several players rested ahead of this winter's Ashes series in Australia. And Nottinghamshire's cricketers have taken control of their top-of-the-table clash with Surrey in the county championship. They've got a second innings lead of 277 runs with 2 wickets in hand heading into the penultimate day at the Oval. For more on this and all the day's biggest stories, just go to talksport.com. Now, something a little bit different here, because following last night's Carabao Cup win for Brentford over Aston Villa, Ian Danter caught up with Aaron Hickey, who scored for Brentford after nearly 2 years out following 2 hamstring surgeries. And he told Dance that he's just relieved to be back on the pitch.
Aaron, what a lovely evening for you. You get the win, but you get, is that the best goal you've ever scored?
It's up there, but I think I've scored one better than that, but it was good to get the goal. Just good to play on nights like this at the G-Tech in front of the fans is good for me. It's been a long time, so yeah, I'm delighted.
Okay, for those that don't know your story, you've been out for a very long time. You did get, of course, a game at Bournemouth in the previous round, but this has been a long time coming, this sort of comeback.
Yeah, I've had a few games off the bench, and I had a game in the Bournemouth and away with national team, but this was the first time I played at the G-Tech in front of the fans, and it felt like this is me back now, and to score the goal, yeah, just delighted.
Tell us about the support you've had from within the club whilst you've been rehabilitating.
Yeah, they've been really good with me. Been trustworthy of me, and I've had one physio that's really helped me along the way, built a good relationship with him, and now it's just got over the line and back playing.
Certainly Brentford have got this knack of scoring from set pieces at the minute, and you found yourself in the right place at the right time for that volley.
Yeah, luckily I was in the right position. Just fell to me. I think it was near the edge of the box or whatever, and just had a shot because I wanted to have a shot. I was telling myself I need to have a shot here, so yeah, luckily it went in.
And a good night for your goalkeeper as well, who didn't enjoy what happened at the end of the first half, but a bit of redemption for him.
Yeah, I think it was excellent. It's so good to play with him, and we can trust him, So it's good to have a keeper that you can trust, and I thought it was brilliant tonight, yeah, so I'm delighted for him.
Really nice interview there. Hickey is now back in the Scotland squad, as well as Steve Clarke's men target a place at next summer's World Cup, and we wish him all the best. Really nice interview there with Ian Danter. Right, keep those texts coming in this Wednesday morning. We just had this one from Sammy, the Manchester United England fan, writing all the way from Sweden. Good morning, Katie. I have a doctor's appointment this morning. Listening to Talk Sport is keeping me calm, so thank you for getting me off to a good start this morning. Keep those texts coming in, 81089. Now it's time for this. Yes, we are playing Oasis because we've got a hot competition for you. Don't miss your last chance to enter our biggest competition ever. £25,000 cash and tickets to see Oasis live at Wembley on Saturday, the 27th of September. Yes, £25,000 in cash and Oasis tickets. You have until 9 a.m. this Friday to enter. Here's how you do it.
18 plus, UK excluding Northern Ireland. For a chance to win, text the word Oasis to 83338 and you're in the draw. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. You must have the bill payer's permission. Or you can enter for free by calling 0330 880 338. All entries must be received by the 19th of September at 9 a.m. This is a talkSPORT limited promotion run on talkSPORT, Talk and Virgin Radio UK stations. Full terms and conditions at talksport.com.
Now it's time to have a look at the front pages.
It's a front page throwdown.
Oh, what a move!
The front pages first on the Early Sports Breakfast. talkSPORT.
Right, Nick Ellaby is back alongside me in the studio. What silly Well, actually, we're not going to start silly, are we? Going to start about a legend.
Just very quickly, look. Robert Redford is one of the hottest men I've ever seen. He's like Brad Pitt before Brad Pitt. And actually, interestingly, Paul Ross saying overnight that, incredible actor, but maybe slightly hamstrung by his good looks, exactly as Paul has been throughout his career. Some great photos in the Sun of some of his good films like The Sting, Indecent Proposal, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, which is one of the best westerns ever. And great picture of Robert Redford and playing table tennis topless. So if you're into hot guys, some great and obviously great long life and died peacefully, surrounded by his family apparently. So just wanted to salute Robert Redford. Listen, you're married, right?
Yes.
Does your husband get man flu? Why are you laughing?
Man flu. I have no sympathy when. Obviously, when my husband's ill, I am very nice. But when
I hope so. Shout out if he's listening.
He's probably not listening. He's filming somewhere. But no. I think I have to appreciate if it's not man flu, I'll be very sympathetic. But if I have any kind of whiff that it's man flu, absolutely not.
Well, listen, man flu does exist according to blokes. And scientists, it says here. Obviously, boffins are involved.
Boffins are, of course, involved.
Some 68% of geezers quizzed in this poll say the cold-like symptoms are no myth. And boffins have backed up these claims. So Robert H. Schmerling from... sounds a bit like Schmelz Herring, doesn't it? Robert H. Schmerling from Harvard Health in the US said in one study reviewing 6 years of data, men were hospitalised with the flu more often than women. So, actually, it's a serious affliction.
Yeah.
And it affects us a lot more. So I think we need a little bit more sympathy, thank you.
Yeah, a little bit more sympathy. Not much, though.
I think, has David Beckham had a hair hat? Has he had a bit of work done? In the Daily Star, page 19, Bex looks like a hero. David Beckham looks to have
looks like a hero.
looks to have a full head of hair after his barnet appeared a little thin on top. There's a picture of him a few years ago that looks like it's a little bit thinning on holiday there. Looking incredible.
David Beckham, yeah.
As he always
very good
does.
looking man.
And then another picture recently where he looks like he's had, some thatching done on top. So
it's all right.
Of course it's all right. Listen, did you see Phil Barsley the other day on Breakfast? Yeah, I was joking with Ali McCoist about it. He said, Ali McCoist said he needs it, and Phil Barsley said he's got the discount code. So maybe
the discount.
Yeah, so maybe Ali McCoist will be getting a Bex.
And finally, this one that I think we need to discuss.
Finally, I'll tell you, there's another boffin story. Do you make cheese on toast at home?
I do, yes.
Do you have like a set way of doing it?
Yeah, you do cheese first and then Liam Perrings.
Is that right? Do you always put Liam Perrings on it?
Not always. Depends on my mood and what time of day.
Butter under the cheese?
Oh.
Bit decadent.
No. Sometimes. Also depends if I'm feeling healthy or not.
Well, the boffins have weighed in on this. They say the sauce goes on the toast, not the cheese.
No, I can't be doing that. You need the sauce to melt into the cheese.
Yeah, I like when you get the crispy cheese with the sauce on it.
Yeah.
But they're saying that's wrong. I'm not sure about this. I think we need to get a boffin on the
get a cheese boffin on
to justify this. But it says the Liam Perrins soaks into the toast and transforms the toast into pure umami heaven.
Well, there we go. I'm going to give it a go and report back. How about that?
I think, please. We'll have a chat tomorrow about this.
Yes, we will. Nick, thank you very much for the silly business in the front pages. You're listening to Early Sports Breakfast here on talkSPORT. Katie Shanahan here with you, guiding you through until 6 o'clock. Up next, we're going to be looking ahead to another thrilling night of Champions League action, which, of course, you can hear right here on talkSPORT. listening to Early Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, here on talkSPORT. How are you doing this Wednesday morning? Whether you're on your way to work, you may be walking the dogs, or just making your breakfast, settle in, as talkSPORT Breakfast is coming up at 6 o'clock with Alan Brazil and Gabby Ogbonlahor. Right, we've got a couple of blockbuster games once again in the Champions League for you here on talkSPORT. World champions Chelsea are away at Bayern Munich, while Liverpool are at home to Atletico Madrid, and they're both live right here.
The Champions League, we love it.
Oh, Salah does what he does best.
It's already a Champions League game to look forward to.
Going to pull the trigger now and finds the bottom corner. Alexander Isak.
But if people look forward to his playing time, that could mean that could happen tomorrow as well.
Comes out to Griezmann, into the area. He scored.
We know Atleti have had great times at Anfield.
João Pedro heads it down. Palmer! He's off the mark! The 2025 Conference League final winners are Chelsea Football Club.
I promise you, that group of players will be better next year from winning that trophy.
They're a very good Bayern side, but it doesn't feel like they're the greatest.
Inside the penalty area, trying to put it on a plate for Kane!
Whenever we play against any team at the Allianz Arena, we back ourselves to beat anyone if we play to our ability.
Drogba steps up, right-footed, and wins the European Cup for Chelsea. Absolutely extraordinary.
This is what football's all about.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about Liverpool as favourites for this year's title. Last season, they lost to eventual winners PSG on penalties. That was in the last 16, so quite early. They were top of the Champions League table in January, but then they were knocked out in March. And after a big summer in the transfer market, the reporters were asking Arne Slot in the press conference if the pressure has just gone up a notch.
We've spoken about how much money Liverpool have invested. Does it annoy you that people talk about how much money you have spent? And do you agree that you are considered the favourites in this Champions League?
He's been listening to a lot of talkSPORT because he was saying that we spent so much money. And it didn't came to him probably that we've sold for 300 million. I repeat, for 300 million as well.
Maybe he's listening now. So, obviously Liverpool have spent a lot of money, didn't they, in the summer? 450 million on 8 players, but then they did sell players like Luis Diaz and Darwin Núñez, like Arne Slot was saying there, to around £300 million. And bearing in mind, they only spent 10 million last summer on players like Federico Chiesa. It kind of goes to show that they have spent a lot of money, and let's see how they get on this season. So Arne Slot is a talkSPORT listener. Good to hear. And apparently we help improve his English, apparently. As for Liverpool captain Virgil van Dijk, he hopes that new signing Alexander Isak can forget all of the chat and noise around his move from Newcastle and just focus on playing football. We could see Isak play for Liverpool for the first time tonight. Well, Van Dijk's also expecting a really tough night against Diego Simeone's Atleti.
It's a team that works so hard. It's a world-class manager. It says a lot that he's been at that club for such a long time, and a lot of respect for that. They have world-class players, a world-class goalie. I can go on, and they are just a very difficult team to beat, and they will never give up. That's the mentality they have, and they maybe did not have the best start that they would love to in terms of in the league, but I know that this is their start of their campaign as well, and they would love to impress as quickly as possible as well, so we have to be ready.
So Liverpool against Atletico Madrid is live on kickoff from 7 o'clock tonight with Adrian Durham. Over on talkSPORT 2 from 7 o'clock, we've got Bayern Munich against Chelsea. Oh, what a game. And a certain striker is looking forward to facing Chelsea once again.
Yeah, I think the rivalry was a good rivalry we had, especially early on in my Tottenham career, with the kind of that Pochettino era. And we had a lot of tough games, good games against each other. So, I think playing against Premier League opposition, there's always maybe a little bit more expectation around the game. Obviously, maybe the Chelsea fans don't like me as much. And when we play Arsenal, the Arsenal fans don't like me as much. But that makes me want to play better. That motivates me. Look, there's going to be some familiar faces that I played against, some that I play with England. So all those things added, it just brings a little something special around the game. And I think, being at the Allianz, having an English team here, as a team, we like to, try and stamp our authority on the game, and we'll try and do that tomorrow. But like I said earlier, we're playing against a very good side, so we have to be at 100%.
Harry Kane's Bayern Munich have won all 5 of their competition fixtures this season so far, with Kane scoring 8 goals across those 5 games. With Bayern Munich against Chelsea is live on talkSPORT 2 from 7 o'clock tonight. Right, loads more on breakfast coming up with Alan and Gabby this morning. Here's what's coming up. Liverpool legend Phil Thompson is here to look ahead to their game against Atletico Madrid. England and Sale hooker Luke Cowan-Dickie. The Premiership kicks off next weekend. Can't wait for that. Times Radio legend John Pienaar will discuss his beloved Crystal Palace. Plus, I feel it in my fingers. The singer and bass player from Wet, 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 Kevin Sim and Graham Clark will be chatting to Alan Brazil and Gabby Bonhor. But you have been listening to Early Sports Breakfast with me, Katie Shanahan, this Wednesday morning with Adrian Flux, insurance for the individual. Find out more at adrianflux.co.uk. Alan and Gabby are up next. I'll be back tomorrow morning, same time. Have a great day.